everybody. I'm Melissa Sorrentino, the Improv Sophisticate. Today is Thanksgiving, and I already did a video that was kind of a tearjerker this morning for my hashtag divorce care playlist. So if you want to see some inside scoop on me, go ahead and click on that. Today, I want to actually try to pull a Thanksgiving theme in. I have a couple other ideas. I probably need to do a little bit more work to get it like briefed down that I'm looking forward to making videos on. But today, I want to sort of fold the concept of gratefulness into some discussion about improv. And I immediately came up with an idea about how important it is to be grateful for our scene partners' choices. Yes, and for our scene partners at all, and for our audiences, and our theaters, and each other as a community. So that's kind of two separate concepts, but I'll just start with the community concept. I did a video earlier that was something about vilification, and this sort of it piggybacks on that. Being grateful is an enormous tool. It isn't just like a good moral thing to do. I argue that things that are good moral things to do actually are good for us, and that's kind of the whole point of morality. We choose our principles. And for me, one of them is to be grateful. It's very easy to get like a self-entitled attitude, especially in our country. We're spoiled. No offense to all y'all millennials, but apparently there's a big opinion out there that you guys have a sense of entitlement. And, that's awesome. That's confidence. That's empowerment. That's shit that the previous generation was missing, and that's why they gifted it to you. So if you have gratefulness for that gift as a millennial, you're already not being like that entitled thing that people have a chip on their shoulder against you kids about. We need to be grateful. We need to remember that we aren't necessarily owed anything, because there are people who are born into situations that are so much shittier than any of ours that it's not fair that they didn't get born into this country, or they didn't get born into a certain, financial echelon, or whatever. Insert your thing here. Obviously, there are very obvious ones, but there are ones that aren't obvious too. Sometimes somebody has a bit of a tood, and you might have a whole group and everybody's very warm, fuzzy, and there's one or two people that have a bit of a tood. And I continue to recognize when I'm with people that have like issues, of a wide variety of issues, I try to always think to myself how lucky I am that I don't have their issues. I think, thank God I'm somewhat socially, apt to be in a room with a lot of people and be able to get along with them and to be able to even be optimistic. Now, yeah, I worked hard for a lot of those things. I was born into some things about my situation could have turned me very pessimistic. And I did work for it, but that doesn't mean I'm not grateful for it. I worked my ass off to get myself to Hollywood from the Detroit area across the country. That took work. I mean, even just the literal, I had to pack, I had to buy a car, I had to, put gas in it, I had to take care of myself. Those are simple things, but big, deep, inner freaking work. I had to have guts, I had to have a spirit of strength. I had to have a spirit of hope. And I also, nowadays, I really do actually work for a spirit of gratefulness. It doesn't come for free, for nothing. But just because you have to work for something doesn't mean that you shouldn't be grateful when it arrives. I'm actually grateful for my gratefulness. Isn't that crazy? I am grateful that I had to go through day in, day out of waking up in the morning and being like, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful for the floor I'm walking on, I'm grateful for the hallway I'm going down, I'm grateful for my toothbrush, I'm grateful, and I did that until it was genuine to me. And then I go, oh, thank God that now I don't have to work to be grateful. I actually, I'm grateful right now that the wind is blowing some leaves outside my window because I live in Las Vegas. And, trees are not the easiest thing to come by around these parts, I'm grateful for the people that planted all that shit. I'm grateful for the people that settled in this area and got some water over here so I could live here in a pretty, half decent house without, it being so completely out of my financial league that I could never have possibly bought a house after all the risks I took and failures that I faced. So, gratefulness can be for little simple things, but it can be for huge. And then that's whoa, I am so grateful, having gratefulness that your scene partners showed up rather than being pissy because they were 2 minutes fucking late that day. Have you never been late? Having gratefulness that even that crotchety person, always seems to be reliable, or they're the person that fucking, turns on the lights, whoever that person is, whoever the person is that, got the classes together, the admin people at the theater, the people, maybe you feel, a little crunchy around the edges because you have to pay for a class, but, be grateful for the person that put together the website that showed you the goddamn pricing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. This stuff isn't free. It's hard. It's hard for everybody. But let's all just be grateful that we all showed up and we all want to, embrace the same art form. I could go on and on and on. Obviously, I already have. There's another thing, though, in your scenes. How about look for the other person's suggestions and be grateful for them? Grateful that the person came up with something that fast and you guys didn't have to stand there going, what the hell? Grateful that their suggestion was interesting. Grateful that even if their suggestion was boring, I'll bet you it was different than the suggestion that you might have said. Grateful that it's something different. Grateful that it's got those different colors and flavors of different people bringing themselves into the work. But even in that very moment, you can have an acceptance that's actually, you can actually even put that into your acting, and somebody hands you, I'm always doing a cup of coffee. I guess I always want a cup of coffee, but somebody's handing you a cup of coffee. You're like, thank you. Oh my God. I have been so tired lately, and this puppy is really going to wake me up, and I'm going to just rock out this day, boss. Thank you for the coffee. Thank you for showing me that you appreciate me as an employee. Melissa, why don't you just go to your cubicle? Will do, sir. You can have fun with it. You can have fun with things that are positive. It doesn't all have to be cynical. So you as a human being, being grateful for your scene partners, let's just take a minute right now and just say thank you, universe. I say God, whatever you think, if you thank yourself, whatever you think, just thank you so much for the people that have made improv go from this weird underground thing that only wackos that were big, bright, cheesy colored ties could do to it's just cool and it's fun. Thank you for expanding improv into an art form. Thank you so much for all the human beings that show up to play, that show up to watch, to show up to support and do all the admin stuff and, print out flyers and make, digital graphics for all of our websites. Just thank you so much for everything there is that's coming together and creating something that's so much fun and so joyful for so many of us. And I am thankful for you guys, even if there's one of you, and I know who you are, so hi. Hi. It's a boy. I like him. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching these videos. And thank you for watching everybody's videos. And thank you for putting up your own videos. And just thank you for being you. Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.